You want to hear about some small town corruption and greed and good old boys in Texas making deals that sell out their very own neighbors and communities? Because that's exactly what's happening right now in rural East Texas, and hardly anyone's talking about it. But I'm not afraid to spill the tea and name names, so let's get into it. A company backed by a billionaire hedge fund from out of town is trying to come in and drill roughly 30 industrial wells into the Carrizo-Wilcox Aquifer. If approved, this would pull roughly 15 billion, with a B, gallons of water out of that aquifer per year. This is the same aquifer that thousands upon thousands of people across several different counties rely on for their water. And those 15 billion gallons of water that would be pulled out every year isn't going to go to our families and our farms and our schools and our communities. That water would be piped out and sold to fuel development in other areas of the state, leaving us to deal with the consequences. Water levels will drop, pressure will drop, and wells will run dry. This is our only water source for our families, for our livestock, for our ranches, farms, schools, and everything else in our communities. But here's the kicker, and here's where that corruption and greed comes in. The well drilling company that was hired to drill all of these industrial wells for this project is owned by a man named Donald A. Foster. And up until just yesterday, Donald Foster was on the board of the groundwater district that reviews these permits. This is obviously a huge conflict of interest, but it gets worse. Texas law requires that board members with a financial conflict recuse themselves from all discussions and decisions regarding that issue. But I've been digging through public records, including minutes from this board's meetings over the last year and a half, and these public records do not show that Donald Foster recused himself. Public records show that Donald Foster was present during discussions of this project and even participated in closed sessions where this project was discussed. During one meeting, there was even a vote on whether or not to consult with a hydrologist for these permits for these wells. And it does not show that Donald Foster recused himself or abstained from that vote. In fact, it looks like he voted and it passed unanimously. Now, in April 2025, he did abstain from one vote. The board was voting to accept the applications for these permits as administratively complete, and he did not participate in that vote. He did abstain. There's a public hearing tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. regarding this issue, where the board is going to hear statements from the public and those who are protesting this project. And Donald Foster resigned from that board yesterday. But you don't get to sit in secret meetings and rubber stamp billion-dollar water grabs that line your pockets and then try to get out of the hot seat at the last minute. Not when it's our land, our wells, and our lives on the line. I guess the people who actually live here were never supposed to notice, let alone fight back. But we did notice. We did find out what you were doing, and we're not just going to roll over and take it. We will not let our communities be drained, silenced, and sold. At least not without a fight.
That's right. After nearly 4 hours of discussion and public hearing Thursday, a motion to table the discussion passed.
I hereby move that any action on the permit application to drill wells by Pine Bliss LLC to be tabled for 90 days to give all interested parties an adequate opportunity to fully investigate.
Equity Management says the move could help combat Texas's water supply crisis. Now, residents and local leaders, including State Senator Robert Nichols and Representative Cody Harris, voiced strong opposition to the proposal. This is what East Texans had to say.
This will severely affect that because we run the entire farm off of that well. And so I'm worried that once our water is gone and we tap into a co-op next door or whatever, like how is that going to affect the co-op? Are they going to be able to meet the demand of our farm? And that's just one of many.
We also spoke with the president of the Neches and Trinity Valley Groundwater Conservation District, who spoke about the future ahead of the next hearing.
This is the first of what will, I'm sure, be a number of hearings and meetings. So this is the first opportunity for people who own property in those areas to speak up.
State Representative Cody Harris announced he will be holding a public hearing at the Texas Capitol on July 15th at 1 p.m. But right now, you can still weigh in until the petition deadline on July 19th. Back to you.